All of tonight's rescues are true stories. We've sometimes used actors or stuntmen, but everything you see and hear is based on the accounts of the people involved. They've helped us to reconstruct events as they happened. Tonight on 999, the moment the balloon burst and left 2 men's lives hanging by a thread. How putting the kettle on sparked off the ultimate test for the luckiest man alive. And practical advice on how you can save someone from drowning. It's extraordinary sometimes how when you think every possible safety precaution has been taken, there are still dangers that haven't been foreseen. Nobody could have predicted the bizarre accident that happened here one Easter at the Shorefields Holiday Centre in Hampshire. Our reconstruction of the events that happened show how the lifeguards on duty in the pool fought a desperate battle against time as they tried to help 12-year-old Hayley Rogers, who's played here by an actress. They needed all their skills and training that day, but it needed 2 flashes of inspiration to save Hayley's life.
When I pick up a newspaper now, and there's a picture of a child on the front, and something terrible's happened to that child, it's frightening. You shouldn't take for granted that you're above any of these terrible things happening to you.
Within 2 minutes of an easygoing Friday bank holiday to a scenario like that it was very surreal. You're looking out and thinking, this isn't happening, this isn't possible.
Hayley! Yes? I'm going for a cup of tea. Okay. I'll be down in the lounge. All right then. Okay, don't be in the water too long. No. Bye.
Hayley and her family were on holiday, but it was one of those typical rainy Easters. Hayley spent most of her time in the indoor pool with her best friend, Pippa.
I was doing handstands, rowing ponies in the water, smacking about, thrashing about. I was hot and so was Hayley, and we agreed that we would go into the whirlpool because we was hot. It's a bit colder in there.
Yeah, it's been cold.
Dad, can I go swimming, please?
No, not now. In half an hour maybe, go out and play for a little while. It's scary, really, to think that how safe we thought we were. In the morning, the little ones, my little ones had been in that same pool, probably doing exactly the same thing.
In the whirlpool, the water was moved round and around by pumps which continuously sucked the water in and blew it back out again. As Hayley ducked her head under, her long hair came closer and closer to one of the intake valves.
Started kicking me. I was just about to get up and have a go at her, and I saw that she was struggling a lot, and I tried to pull her out. She wouldn't budge. I knew something was wrong, so I started to call for help.
Help!
No one was listening to me, so I started shouting even more.
There were 3 lifeguards on pool duty that day. As they ran towards the sound of shouting, they were only too aware how little time someone can survive underwater.
Usually when someone's in trouble, we can pull them straight out, and we couldn't quite understand why. You know, she couldn't come up when we pulled. I went down to have a look to see what was up, and it was then that I realised her hair was caught inside one of the intake valves. I tried pulling her again, but I realised we might start breaking bones because of the force we were using. By this time, a minute had passed. Her struggling had become quite frantic.
Well, I better go and check on the children.
OK then, I'll be down in a minute.
My first reaction was to get to the pumps, turn them off, which I could have sworn would have released her.
Still stuck! Get an ambulance and get it to centres as well! Move!
It was quite frightening, realising that, you know, this is not working. My God, what's happening? Why can't we get her up? Her hair had twisted round with the whirlpool effect and caused a rope, a plaited rope behind the actual valve. What I had to do was get scissors, get down there and cut her out.
What's going on?
There's someone stuck in the whirlpool.
You're joking. No. I don't know whether it was an extra sense or what. I just went straight through the reception area and ended up within, well, 2 seconds at the poolside. I started to think the word, because if the strength of 3 or 4 men can't sort of free her, you think something to yourself, well, what is going to free her?
I'd never really been taught to do underwater resuscitation, only above water. I went down, tried mouth to mouth, and after a few goes I realised that she wasn't receiving this properly, because I was going down and all the air was just coming out.
By then, her struggling had stopped completely, and I was getting really, really worried. 2.5, 3 minutes had gone by now, and I knew it was getting very, very serious. I had to start cutting through. It was taking a fair amount of time. I was just wishing for something a lot sharper and quicker.
Hayley still wasn't getting air. John had a flash of inspiration.
Realising that the mouth wasn't working, I guessed that the only resuscitation would be the nose, like you do like a baby. But I did have thoughts going through my mind. Am I doing the right thing? I didn't know how many times I was doing it. Taking 2 breaths, one for me, one for her, down, seeing her face, still again, and then back up again. I just kept on going. I knew if I'd given up, she would die.
Everybody back! Everybody back!
It was Paul Noble, a regular at the club, who had the second moment of inspiration. He suddenly knew where he could find a sharp knife.
I'd heard people sort of talking about an accident in the pool and someone had got their head stuck. Obviously, your imagination starts to think, oh my goodness, you know, whatever's happened. And then the next thing I remember was this man barging past with a carving knife in his hand. I mean, oh my God, whatever is wrong, you know, what's going on?
Excuse me. Mark, it's Hayley. They say that she's in the pool. Come with me.
Craig, knife!
I just snatched it out of his hand, dropped the scissors, and went back under and cut her out almost straight away.
With one clean sweep, I actually saw the knife go up, and then she come popping up to the surface like a balloon.
Okay, straight! In!
That was brilliant. That's what we needed. The few seconds might have made all the difference.
Down. Gently. Put your head.
Then I had a sudden thought, is she still alive? Is she just dead? Is all this effort I've tried worthless?
Hayley had spent more than 4 minutes underwater.
Got a pulse. Definite pulse. Get it over. Come on.
When I saw the state she was in, I thought, it's very much touch and go here. I gave 2 breaths, and I was absolutely amazed that she came round so quick.
Blanket. Need a blanket.
And that was just relief. You know, just...
What happened? I started to think, all right, she's breathing, but is she brain damaged or something? You know, why isn't she answering me? I was talking to her, and she wasn't saying anything.
I'm sorry, Mum.
Oh, it was just sheer relief. All of a sudden, she was all right. It was like the minute she was born. It was just like being given a brand new baby all over again.
1 minute I was only a couple of inches from the top, and then I was getting nearer and nearer and nearer at the bottom. I kept on wishing that I'd just be able to get up. This one breath that I needed to keep me alive. Then it just went darker and darker and darker until it went black. see her, I was like half thinking that I was in heaven or something.
Oh,
I didn't realise it at first that I'd saved someone's life. And then you started thinking about it, and I'm so sort of proud I'd done something like that at such an early age.
It was like John's breath that kept me alive. It's like, it's almost as if it's a part then in me now. Because if they hadn't have bothered, or if they hadn't have been there, then I would have just been dead, and because of them I'm alive now. And it was just the most bravest thing that anyone could have done before.
Immediately after the accident, the centre closed the whirlpool so that the pump that caused the suction could be removed to make it safe. It's a tribute to the initiative of the lifeguards that they were able to save Hayley's life under such unusual circumstances. It's the first time that underwater resuscitation is known to have been used in the United Kingdom. There's still very little known about the technique, and it should only ever be attempted as a last resort by a trained lifesaver. Let's hope that you're never in such an extreme situation. But there are some basic rules that the Royal Life-Saving Society says will help if you're ever faced with trying to rescue somebody from the water.
The first rule of life-saving is don't enter the water unless it's absolutely necessary. Always try first to reach out to the casualty from the land or throw something in to help support them. If you have to go in, it's safer to wade than to swim, and only try to tow someone to safety if you're a trained lifesaver or if the person is unconscious. If you have to resuscitate someone in the water, it's better to use mouth to nose, but you can only do this in shallow water or by holding onto something. Tilt the head back and breathe steadily and strongly into their nose, keeping their mouth closed. Then open their mouth to let the air escape. If you bring someone out, take care to support their head, then put them on their back and check for breathing and pulse. If they're breathing, put them in the recovery position. If they're not breathing or there's no pulse, start resuscitation and call for help. Many people think drowning is due to the lungs filling with water, but swallowing even a small amount can lead to suffocation. Never force water out of the stomach or lungs, but allow it to drain away naturally. Make sure you keep the airway clear and keep them warm. Whether someone's been rescued from an indoor pool or a river or lake, always take them to hospital for a checkup. They're still at risk up to 3 days later from secondary drowning. This is a form of pneumonia because water is still in the lungs and it can be fatal. Our rivers, lakes and seas are so cold, it's now thought that more people who get into difficulties die from the effects of cold than drowning. The body cools down 30 times faster in cold water than in the open air, so your temperature can drop dangerously low very quickly. Even if you're a powerful swimmer, the cold water will sap your strength and you could find yourself sinking. When the cold hits you, you may gasp and swallow water, which can make you panic. And a sudden change in temperature puts an extra strain on your heart, so be aware of the risk of heart attack. Too many people drown each year attempting rescues that are beyond them.
A dull, wet, blustery day. Not ideal conditions for ballooning, but in better weather, it's the most peaceful way to fly and enjoy the countryside. Only a few hundred pilots fly regularly in Britain, and the more experienced of them tend to take their balloons abroad, where the climate is more favourable. Ray Bailey and Alex Simpson were flying in an international competition in Spain when a video cameraman caught the moment when their tranquility was shattered, a life-threatening predicament that didn't give them time to wait for the emergency services. Ray and Alex have helped with the reconstruction, but we've used stuntmen for the incident itself.
I've been ballooning now for over 20 years, 23 years in actual fact, and I think the beauty about ballooning is the uncertainty, never knowing what is going to happen.
Ray taught me to fly. He was one of the very first of the hot air balloonists in this country. So he had a lot of experience, and he's a great guy to get to learn from.
It was the last day of a local ballooning festival. More than 50 balloons were getting ready to fly towards the Spanish town of Lerida.
The wind was a little stronger than probably we would have liked it, but it was within my parameters of flying. And so we decided that we would inflate the balloon and have a go at the task.
Ray and Alex's wives, Wendy and Pam, were to follow by road to recover the balloon.
I was navigating. Yeah, we take it in turns. One will pilot, one will navigate.
I'm going to take a little bit of height at the moment. I want to get up the right. When you're flying with other balloons, you've got to be very aware. You've got to be aware of what's to the right, to the left, underneath you and above you. The hardest thing, of course, is knowing what's above you, because your vision is definitely restricted.
Several balloonists have already lost their lives in mid-air collisions that have ripped open the thin fabric because they couldn't see immediately above them.
You see, if you look at the other balloons, they're all going to the right of the church.
Yeah.
What we're going to need to do is, in fact, to get to the church, and then we want to go low.
It was a competition to fly to a target in the town centre called a key grab. They put a set of car keys high on a pole. The first pilot to grab them wins a car.
That's a very difficult competition. Very exciting being allowed to fly low over a city, which you can't do in England.
The target was placed in the town because balloons cause a spectacle, and so therefore they wanted a little bit of action, I think, and therefore they wanted the balloons to fly reasonably low so that people could see them.
But there were a number of hazards around the town centre, and steering towards the prize, some balloons were already flying dangerously low.
It looks like there's some cranes there. As we neared the city, and we could see a building site close to the target with some construction site cranes. There was one low down on our left. It must have taken our attention because what we hadn't seen was a crane above us on higher ground, and very unusually we were flying so low that we had a crane higher than us ahead of us.
All of a sudden I noticed this large tower crane.
Bloody hell!
Nice, Ray, we're going to
hit that jib.
Ray, pull a wreck. We might just get under that.
I thought I had actually missed it, and by pulling the rip line,
Go on, pull it harder.
venting out some hot air,
Hold on.
I thought I'd made it. And then I managed to look up just at the point to see the black shadow, in actual fact, of the jib passing over the top of the envelope.
And then all of a sudden the balloon dented. And then it just slashed the fabric. The crane came right into the balloon, very high up.
What did concern me was that how well was I hooked onto the actual jib itself.
Okay.
Down, will you?
In fact, the crane was only hooked through the thin balloon material.
The jib of the crane started to swing over the building site. I think the wind had caught the balloon. And I looked down and I realised that if ever we fell off that crane, there's just no way we're going to survive it.
Oh, Christ, Alex,
Hold on, Ray.
What have we...
The balloon continued to tear until it settled onto one of the webbing tapes that hold it together. The ripping stopped, but for how long?
Well, let's get these tanks unstrapped.
Right, okay.
And let's get the weight over the side.
Make sure there's no one underneath us when they go out.
Okay.
Right, make sure there's no one down there, Ray.
No, okay, over
Okay.
We had to do something. We really had to activate assistance ourselves. We saw a couple of, I think, local Spaniards.
Come over.
I tried to call to them with the indication to pull the whole lot round
Swing us round.
Over to the right.
onto the very steep side of the slope. In fact, it didn't work that way because the local help that was down there started to pull on the rope.
Right.
Not to pull us to the right, but to try and pull us off the
They're
crane.
going to have us off here if we're not careful.
And I thought, good God, you know, this is not really what I want. The whole thing lurched down, and you think then, you know, this is it. It's just going to all tear away, and the whole lot's going to plummet to the ground. Eventually, they got the gist of what we wanted, and they clambered with the line and took it up this rock face. And I can remember seeing the rock face coming towards us, and I thought, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. And then we hit the rock.
After a chase through Spanish traffic, Wendy and Pam got there in time to share Ray and Alex's relief.
When I got out of the basket, I felt very elated. But 3 or 4 days later, it hit me hard then. I suddenly realised, you know, just how close we'd been. Didn't feel so good then.
I think the incident has affected me in terms of it made us perhaps very much more of a team.
My great friendship with Ray was a tremendous help on the day. We got away with it, learned a lot that day. Just hope we don't have to put those what we learned to future use.
Over the next 5 weeks on 999, we'll be featuring the work of a life-saving unit that's unique in Britain. It's called the Helicopter Emergency Medical Service, or HEMS for short, and it was set up 5 years ago here at the Royal London Hospital as a way of getting doctors directly to the scene of an emergency, equipped to do pretty much everything that's normally only possible in a hospital. They can even do open-heart surgery by the side of the road. Each week, Juliet Morris will be introducing us to the people who make the service work.
The HEMS unit only attends the most serious incidents. It's always a matter of life and death. When the call comes through, Mark here scrambles the frontline crew. Dr. Gareth Davies, paramedic Alan Norman, and 2 pilots. They can be airborne within 2 minutes, and at the scene of any emergency within the M25 only minutes later. Their patch covers more than 600 square miles and 7 million people. Over the next 2 weeks, we'll see how they and the backup team from the hospital saved the life of Danny Cole, a construction worker from Bracknell in Berkshire. What you're about to see isn't a reconstruction, but the actual events recorded as they happened by a 999 camera crew and shown now with Danny's permission.
It became obvious to me that patients didn't suddenly become ill just as they came through the front doors of the hospital. I had a belief that we should actually be trying to take the hospital to the patients in these sort of individuals, people in bad car crashes, people trapped in crashes, so that they can actually get the sort of treatment they would inside a hospital out there in the streets.
It's a chap that's supposedly been run over by a tractor. He's been removed from underneath the tractor. We're not exactly sure of his injuries.
Yes, it's actually due east to Bromley station.
When they get a call, the pilot's first job is to find a suitable place to land, close to the accident. In this case, it's someone's back garden, just a short run to the building site.
There they go.
All right, thanks, guys.
Brakes on. Down.
All right, just relax, Danny. You're doing great, son. Keep going, Dan. Grip your hand, Dan. All right, mate. Okay.
Do you want to just leave that for now and get ready for an anaesthetic?
He's been coughing up blood since he started. Okay, Dan, you're doing fine. Okay.
All of it, all the way up.
Danny,
how old is
needle
he?
in the back of your hand now.
Just relax.
How old is he?
Okay, Danny. 40. How old are you, Dan, roughly?
40.
Can we change that for a reservoir mask? Every job that we go to, whether it's a suicide, a car crash, a stabbing, I basically approach in the same way. When we get the patient, we simply go through a ABC, which is making sure that the patient's got a patent airway, that they haven't swallowed their tongue, that they are breathing properly and sending oxygen to their brain, and the C is they have a good circulation and a good blood pressure. Right, Danny, I'm going to give you some medicine now that's going to send you off to sleep and take your pain away, all right? And we'll wake you up in the hospital, all right? You'll feel it going in now. Yeah, we'll do that.
Before he's put into the helicopter, Danny's breathing is taken over by a ventilator to keep his condition stable during the flight.
Start to move over that way, and we'll put the two scoop down either side. We need a chest drain that side.
Over there.
Okay?
Nice and slowly up. Slowly across. Slowly across. You know his age?
Hi, it's Gareth here. We've got a male approximately 50 years of age who's been run over by a bulldozer, effectively. He has a massive crush injury to his chest with bilateral hemopneumothoraces. He's been intubated and ventilated. Doesn't appear to have any injuries that I can define at the moment, but he is hemodynamically unstable from his chest. We're going to airlift him back to you with an ETA of probably about 15, yeah, ETA of about 15 to 20. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye.
You're clear, and the wind is estimated to be southwesterly less than 10. That's it.
Same as before.
From the building site in Kent, it takes just 7 minutes to airlift Danny back to the helipad on the roof of the Royal London Hospital.
Bring the ambu bag, would you?
Gareth Davies has already radioed ahead to a medical team waiting to receive Danny in the trauma room.
You coming down? One sec. Yeah, no, somebody's getting that. When we got to him, he was alert and orientated, pupils equal and active to light, moving all 4 limbs. He had a massive anterior flail and was very dyspneic. His abdomen is soft and hasn't distended up. His pelvis seems intact. He's been hemodynamically unstable with his systolics dropping to 40 and has had a total of 3.5 litres of fluid.
Could we, before the chest drain goes in, get the patient off the vacuum mat? So, nurse 1, can you sort out the team?
Right, need lifters for a direct lift.
Basically, all the patients that are brought in by helicopter are brought down into this room via a lift. And this is a room in the casualty department where all the specialists in the hospital group together to receive the patient.
And you're going to need to come and help me.
Nurse 1 in charge for the lift.
The Royal London Hospital trauma team is a big step up from a normal casualty department. It's been designed to cope with the most serious injuries, so that within minutes they assess Danny's condition and start treating him.
This sort of injury can have catastrophic complications because he's crushed the ribs have gone in and they've lacerated his lungs, and his heart sits behind this breastbone, which has been crushed as well, so he may have damaged his heart. We're draining the air and the blood out of both sides of his chest so that his lungs can expand completely, and we need to replace blood with blood, and that's what you can see that's hanging up on the side there.
Chest X-ray. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He needs a multidisciplinary hospital for this sort of injury. He may well have damaged his pelvis. It doesn't look that way. I haven't seen the x-rays. I didn't think he had it seen. But you need this sort of rapid response in the first hour.
Next week, Dr. Gareth Davies follows Danny's progress through intensive care to full recovery.
It must be the nightmare for every parent, babysitter or creche leader. A child in your care develops a very high fever and, worse still, starts having convulsions. These febrile convulsions are quite common in the under-5s, and although they're rarely dangerous if they're properly managed, they can still be very alarming. This week's 999 Lifesavers are Ellen and Adam Cooney from Coventry. They often babysit their 18-month-old granddaughter, but they were totally unprepared for what happened one evening. Ellen takes up the story.
Well, we were babysitting, as grandparents usually do, for Hannah. Hannah was fine, we put her to bed 8 o'clock. It wasn't until later on that evening that Adam thought, when we went to bed, that he heard something wrong with the baby. Something's wrong. The noise was very unusual. First of all, he thought it was a nightmare, and then it was like a gurgling noise at the back of the throat, like as if she was choking. I got water splashed on her face. I couldn't wake her up. I tried to wake her up, and I just couldn't wake her up. You know, I just didn't know what was wrong with her. I shouted for Adam. He came in. He took her off me and realised that she was distressed. She was blue around the eyes and mauve around the mouth. Her temperature was so high. We were looking at it. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what to do. I felt terrible. Adam dialed 999, handed me the phone because he needed his hands to deal with the baby. He was giving her mouth to mouth, doing everything he possibly could because he's a trained first aider. I was in a terrible state, really in a terrible state. You just can't imagine how difficult it was standing there looking at your own grandchild that could be dead and there's nothing you could do about it. When the paramedics got there, we were very relieved because we knew that they'd know what was wrong. They said it was a feeble convulsion she was having, and we asked what that was. And they said it's when the body temperature gets too high and a feeble convulsion comes in, and you've got to get the temperature down as fast as you can. They told us to soak a towel in water and bring it in soaking, and they wrapped her up in that. Apparently, that's one of the ways of getting the temperature down as fast as you can. She's very bright, and she's a lovely, bubbly little girl. We only hope that if somebody else has this happen to them, that they will know how to cope with it, because we've been very lucky, I think.
Usually, when the emergency services are called out, they'll know next to nothing of the situation they'll be faced with. Often a difficult job is made even harder because they have to work with people they don't know in unfamiliar surroundings to save the lives of complete strangers. But when disaster struck a small Scottish fishing village, everybody rallied round to save somebody who suddenly needed help. The fact that everyone knew everyone else and was used to working together almost certainly made the difference between life and death. For as long as anyone can remember, the villages along the east coast of Scotland have made their living from fishing. Anstruther is no exception, a close-knit community where people can rely on each other in a crisis. By extraordinary coincidence that day, the lifeboat crew were already assembled, carrying out trials on their new boat.
During the last 3 or 4 years, we're trying to raise money to buy a new lifeboat to replace the old Oakley-class lifeboat. So it's quite a big occasion for the town.
Another coincidence, it was the local doctor's day off, so he wasn't out on his rounds, he was just a few hundred yards away.
It was a nice quiet day. I was just off to the bank to get some money out of the autocash machine.
Heather Anderson was going to see her husband Alec. He'd been working on his fishing boat.
Yeah?
How you doing?
You want a cup of tea?
Well, there's no milk, mine.
Well, we can get some from the coop then.
All right. I'll just put the kettle on.
He told me there was no milk, so I had to go over to the shop to buy milk, and that's where I was.
Alec didn't know there was a gas leak on his boat.
I turned round to see the boat exploding into the air. The total heap of firewood. The timbers in the sky and starting to fall down again. The whole noise of the timbers falling was incredible. It was just as loud as the actual explosion itself.
I knew that something was seriously wrong, and I just knew it was the boat because there was nothing else behind the harbour master's office. I looked over and seen the mess. It was terrible.
The boat just split open like a kipper. The wheelhouse, which was the only part that was still intact, seemed to go up in the air and just come straight back down again. Fortunately enough, it had not gone on fire, but I knew there must be somebody in it. I couldn't think anybody could survive the explosion.
I don't think I was really taking in what was happening. It was like I wasn't there. I just didn't feel it was happening to me. I just stood and looked at everyone else.
I saw his hand, only his hand.
You hear me in there? You feel me touching your hand?
And that's all I could touch, and that's all I could see. I could not see his face or anything else.
Are you on your own? Is anybody else with you? Pete, is anybody down there? Yes, there is, Chris. It's okay. I've got a hold of his hand here. And he's talking to me. He seems to go on his own as well. It's Alec Landis. The hell is Alec? Can you move your hand for me? Okay. I'm just going to have a wee look at your arm here. Way around. Just going to move some wood. All right, Chris, just careful. It's shifting.
Every time we took a piece of wood out, it became more unstable, and as the wreckage moved, it hurt Alec a little bit, and he was in pain.
Alec, this is going to hurt a wee bit. Alec, shift up, Billy. Watch his horns.
Gradually, though, we managed to move away the woodwork. We found more of his arm, more of his hand, more of his face.
I can't feel my legs, right?
Okay. Can't see your legs there. Can you see if you can move your toes?
At that point, it seemed as his back was injured, possibly even broken, and the fact that he couldn't move his legs might have meant he was paralysed.
There was no way we could get him out at this stage because there was no exit for him. He was just entombed underneath this wreckage.
Tom, you phone Miller's as soon as for a crane. See if we can get this wedged up. Yeah, get a wedge under here. Another wedge.
The lifeboatmen realised they'd have to stabilise the wreckage and set up a rope sling to lift what was left of the wheelhouse in one complete section. The first fire brigade team to arrive was the Anstruther Retained Force, all local volunteers who not only knew the lifeboat crew well, but were also familiar with boats and the way they're built. They were soon joined by a local paramedic team who brought in more equipment, including Entonox and anaesthetic gas.
Take this in your good hand, okay? And if you hold it tight on your face and take some deep breaths in and out, that'll help train for you.
It was very difficult when you were working underneath. There wasn't much room to move, and the nails were sticking in from all directions. It was quite claustrophobic. I'd worked with most of the people involved on a regular basis, and I think this feeling of trust between everybody just made it so much easier for us to deal with the situation. I knew if there was any problems, they would help me out.
I was working on the crane in a nearby village. It was about 5 miles away, and I just got a phone call and asked to get to Hampshire as fast as I possibly could.
Hello, am I going to help you? There's a man under here, you're going to get that hook over and we'll get that stuff.
More fire crews now began to arrive, led by the area divisional officer Douglas Welsh.
Normally, when you're attempting to rescue someone, it's very seldom that you can make the situation worse. But the structure that was above Alec was so unstable that the danger was that during the lifting operation, that the structure would fail and fall back on top of Alec and increase his injuries.
I just thought to myself, oh my God, when are we going to get out of this? I just took myself off everybody round about me, and I just focused on this boat and it coming out of it. That's all I thought about.
Our station officer Kelly in beside the casualty.
So it's going to take a few minutes. Ian, yeah? Listen up, we're getting ready for the lift, okay?
You're going to tell hurry up with there, aye?
Okay, we're hurrying. We're ready for the lift now.
Listen,
Ian, talk to me all the time. Let me know what's happening in there.
Right, everybody quiet, please. Absolute silence for the lift.
We had to call for absolute silence from the public who were watching the rescue operations so that Ian could keep me informed directly as to what was happening inside the hull as we did the lift.
Right, Sandy, up we go, 6 inches, slowly. And when you're just taking the weight with that, you're not lifting with it, okay?
The actual atmosphere was very tense. It's a very small movement in the lever. You get the feel of it, it's like driving your car. You know how far the clutch comes out before it takes a hold.
You could hear the creaking and groaning of the timbers of the wreck. Now, this could fail any time, and Mr. Anderson could be injured or, God forbid, be killed. The only way we could achieve it safely was to do the lift very, very slowly in short sections.
Stop! Right here. Can you get some of that debris away there? Right, lads, get the chocks in.
We lifted 6 inches, and we made sure that blocks of timber were packed underneath the main bearers of this section we were lifting, so that should the structure fail, it was only dropping perhaps half an inch. It wasn't going back to its original position.
Right, Sandy, we're going to go for a second list. 6 inches again, okay? Stand by, Ian. Right, stand by, everybody. Right, Sandy, 6 inches. Up, slowly.
But as the second lift began, something went wrong.
Stop! Doogie, hold that. Get the chokes in. Get some timber up against the side of that. Okay. Sliding sideways. Get some timber in to brace it. You okay, Ian?
We didn't know why he was shouting. We thought it was stable as far as we were concerned outside. But as far as Alec was concerned, inside, and Ian, that sudden movement sideways was a very dramatic situation for them.
Right, you've got it stable, yeah?
Right, Alec, we're going to go for this last lift, a couple inches, that'll give you the room you need to come out.
Right,
Doogie, take it up a couple of inches.
Stand by, everybody. And lift again. Get out of right. Hold him, Doogie, we've got to lift. Got the lift.
He was desperate to get out. He was virtually pushing the firemen out of the way. And as soon as he emerged, the whole crowd was cheering and clapping. It was really quite... it was incredible to hear the reaction.
I just felt great. And when I looked back and saw the state of the boat, I felt even better.
But for Heather, it had all been too much.
I think she was just shocked. She was stunned, she never said nothing.
When I got him into the ambulance, I had a chance to check him over quickly. And to my amazement, I found that he just had burns to his hands and to his face. I could find no evidence whatsoever of broken bones or anything else. I just couldn't believe it after being trapped for so long.
When the cabin filled with flame and the boat disintegrated, I just thought that was, well, I just felt like the end of the world. When they started to lift the deck, instead of going up, it went sideways. I thought I was coming back down on top of me. I just thought that was finished.
It was only when Alec was being taken to hospital that his rescuers worked out just how many ways he'd been lucky. Apart from anything else, if the tide had been in, he'd have been trapped underwater and drowned.
It was a great team effort. The doctor happened to be there, right in Anstruther. He could have been on a call all the way up the countryside somewhere. Chris was there. Everything just happened. Paramedics were arriving. It was a really excellent team effort.
I would just like to thank all the emergency services. They acted that quick and they were really great. First class.
Everybody worked together, the lifeboat, the fire brigade, the doctor, and the ambulance were just great. So thanks very much.
Life-changing experience at 9 tonight in a brand new Extreme Makeover Home Edition over on UK TV Style. Next on People though, all human life is here in Airport.